Documentation that includes the liar loans, the stated income, those types of instruments. We've still got a ways to go. And even if the adjustment may be at or below their current rate, if they're significantly underwater, and some of these families are, they may make decisions to walk. That may be the rational decision for them. I just want to point out here in terms of Los Angeles County, which is kind of in the middle there, most of the subprimes again have already reset, but for LA County you've got 50% of the Alt A's, which is 102,000, which are going to be resetting in the next couple of years. So again, a lot of opportunity for first-time home buyers in the next couple of years to get into this market. The FHA has been very, very popular, very active. There's now the ability to monetize that $8,000 first-time home buyer credit in the FHA transaction. I think that may be good, but it may definitely have a downside because the default rates we're seeing in the FHA program are significant. And there may need to be a bit of a bailout in that program going forward. Here's a look at what happened to the non-Fannie Freddie part of the market, which again affects the high end and how small that is. So as we look at, let me start on something. I know Jim looked through my presentation, he goes, I don't think this is really good news. I mean, we want to hear the truth, but it doesn't look like good news. And you know, I actually am going to end on a high note, but let me get through the forecast here. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to see about a 25% increase in transactions. We're well on our way to that goal. And 550,000 sales is a really, really good year, you know, for California. That's not sluggish in any way, shape, or form. But we are going to see a further decline in the median home price, and I think you will see the mortgage rate environment to be positive. But you know, the uptick we had over the last month, you know, that's investors. You know, that's the Treasury releasing more T-bills and having people not too interested in getting them, and it's impacting the mortgage market. So there's only so much the government is going to be able to do. So please, you know, drive this point home with your clients that the rate environment is just sweet, really sweet right now. So I'm going to close with a couple of points. You know. One of the things you might be interested in, and I know you all have a copy of this presentation, but if you want to see updated data a few months from now, this is CAR's website, and this is the economics section, and we're one of the main menus on the homepage. So you can see speeches and presentations. You can go in as a realtor and download a recent speech by one of the economists. No problem. There's also a lot of survey research posted. It's a great resource if you want to kind of see what we're doing survey-wise. Here's just one slide from a survey we did of first-time home buyers. And these were individuals that had recently purchased a home. And we asked them, what advice would you give to real estate agents? And I thought it was interesting. Number one, improve the quality of communications. I think success in this business in the next couple of years is going to be tied not to a booming market. It's going to be tied to the realtors who are successfully able to connect with their clients. And more that's going to be connecting with people that are a generation or two removed from where you are. So there's a lot of education going on. Communications is the key to just about everything in life. So I think you need to have a conversation about what the expectations with respect to communication are right off the bat, and then you can exceed them. But it seems like when you look at people's complaints about their real estate transaction, a lot of it is, I didn't hear from my agent, you know, I was expecting this, I didn't hear how the open house went. So providing that, be proactive about setting those parameters is great. They're also interested in lender references, they're also interested in talking to buyers that you've represented in the past. And then finally, I think there needs to be more emphasis on the incredible skill that you bring to the table in terms of negotiation. Most lay people, such as myself, I don't want to negotiate. That's why I want you. I want you to represent me. I want you to do what you do. Tell me how good you are at it. Tell me how you've been successful at negotiating. I know you all have fabulous stories as far as that goes. One of the wonderful parts about my job at CAR is I get to be the book queen in the Strategic Planning and Finance Committee. We read about 4 books every year, and most of the time they have nothing to do with real estate, although this year it's a little bit different, but we're just trying to expand the mind and think about the world and the future. So this year we read Hot, Flat, and Crowded, and they liked it, but they thought it was way too long. So I thought it was interesting that Tom Friedman did not write a green book. They thought it could have been an article. We read The Ascent of Money, very interesting. And the last 2 books we're reading are focused on understanding what we've been through, because one of the things that your trade association needs from all of you this year is your engagement on the policy issues being debated on Capitol Hill. And in order to weigh in intelligently on real estate finance, we need to understand what happened. So the Dear Mr. Buffett book is a look at the cycle from the perspective of someone who is a Wall Street insider. Janet Tavakoli is an expert on derivatives and swaps, and just a highly intelligent. She met Warren Buffett in '05, and they began this correspondence, and I'd like to meet her someday. One of my favorite quotes, and this is just indicative of how her writing style, it's important to have an open mind, but not so much that your brains fall out. Love that. And the second one, Chain of Blame, is really an insider's view from the real estate industry, and there's a lot of, you know, if you've always wondered about Angelo and his tanning booth, it's in here. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, there's just a lot of, 30 years of history. These guys were journalists. I think they were at the Orange County Register. And it's really an insider's view of what happened. And then the other book that I'm halfway through right now that I highly recommend, to the point I made earlier about who your clients are and the generational gaps between an experienced, seasoned realtor and a first-time home buyer, is a book by a guy named Don Tapscott, and I hope you've heard of him. He wrote The Digital Economy and a lot of Wikinomics. Anyway, the book he came out with this year is called Grown Up Digital. And what it is it's a look at the net generation, and these are individuals that were born between 1977 and 1997. So these are your current and future first-time home buyers, and it really gives you a feel for how they're different. In one of his earlier books, I love the quote, technology is anything you didn't have as a teenager. And he talks about a refrigerator being technology to our grandparents. So at the beginning of the book, he's talking about he's on a TV show in Canada for an hour in 1997 showing people how to surf the internet. And his 12-year-old son over dinner that night said, "Not only did I not watch it, Dad, but I would be embarrassed